Days of Our Lives spoilers on Friday, February 14th say that Valentine's Day in Salem is often a time of grand gestures, deep emotions, and unexpected complications. This year, romance takes a backseat to the far-reaching consequences of love, especially when it comes to the complicated topic of babies. As hearts intertwine, some couples find joy in their relationships, while others face the harsh reality of the choices they've made. A hospital is supposed to be a place of healing and hope, but for Kayla, it has become a source of anger and frustration. The very thought of closing Salem's beloved hospital due to financial troubles infuriates her. How could it be possible that a lack of funds could justify shutting down an institution that saves lives? For Kayla, the idea is simply unacceptable. Kayla is a woman of principle, someone who has dedicated her life to medicine and the well-being of others. She isn't the type to give up easily. If it means working for free, she just might do it, because saving lives is more important than a paycheck. Of course, it helps that she comes from a wealthy family and can afford to take such a stand. Unfortunately, not everyone in Salem has that luxury. Sensing her mother's distress, Stephanie steps in to lift her spirits. She devises a plan with Steve to take Kayla on a much-needed getaway. If the hospital drama is going to consume her thoughts, at least she can have a few moments of peace away from it all. A tough decision for Tate and Sophia. Young love is complicated enough without the added responsibility of a baby. Tate and Sophia thought they had found the perfect solution to their predicament. A couple from Sophia's church, her former Sunday school teacher and her husband, were eager to adopt their child. It seemed like fate. Not only were they wonderful people, but they also had a connection to Sophia's family. Surely, her mother would approve. But just when it seemed like the perfect plan, Amy threw a wrench into the works. She voiced her concerns, and suddenly, the prospective adoptive parents backed out. Now, Tate and Sophia are left scrambling for another option. Could Amy be convinced to see things their way? Or will they have to start the search all over again? As time ticks away, the reality of their situation becomes harder to ignore. Johnny and Chanel's unexpected next step. Love in Salem has never been easy. For Johnny and Chanel, their relationship has been a rollercoaster ride of passionate highs and heartbreaking lows. It wasn't too long ago that their love story had seemingly reached its end, unraveling in the most painful and public way imaginable. Accusations flew like daggers. Johnny was convinced that Chanel had been unfaithful, while she fired back with claims of his own betrayal with joy. Their love, once so full of promise, had dissolved into bitter resentment. But in the unpredictable world of Salem, emotions are never set in stone. Just when it seemed like their connection was broken beyond repair, fate intervened in the most unexpected way. Johnny fell ill. It was a moment of clarity, forcing both of them to realize what truly mattered. The anger and accusations suddenly felt trivial compared to the very real fear of losing each other. And in that vulnerable space, their love found a way to resurface. Now, with Johnny fully recovered and their bond stronger than before, they've made another monumental decision. They're staying in Salem. The opportunity to relocate to Los Angeles with their television show Body and Soul had once seemed like the perfect fresh start, but something held them back. Maybe it was the familiarity of home, the family ties, or simply the realization that their story in Salem wasn't over just yet. But what comes next? Without the distraction of a major career move, they've turned their attention inward, contemplating the next phase of their lives. And in a surprising twist, they've landed on something neither of them expected: starting a family. It's a bold decision, one that many might view as reckless given their tumultuous past. Yet, for Johnny and Chanel, this feels like a way to solidify their bond, to truly commit to a future together. However, their excitement is met with a sobering reality: the lingering question of health risks. With Chanel's mother having been exposed to radiation, there's an underlying fear about what that might mean for a future pregnancy. Is it safe? Could there be complications? Their desire to move forward is strong, but the uncertainty is just as powerful. Before they take this leap, they know they need answers. A doctor's visit may provide some clarity, but in true Salem fashion, the road ahead will likely be anything but smooth. Holly's big decision, and Maggie's surprising support. Teenagers often live in the moment, believing that love and desire are all that matter. But in Salem, youthful romance has a way of turning into something far more complicated. Holly, like so many before her, is on the cusp of making a life-altering decision. She's ready to take the next step in her relationship with Tate, choosing to be intimate with him despite the chaos swirling around them. To those watching from the outside, it's clear that Holly isn't seeing the full picture. Tate's life is already mired in turmoil. His involvement with Sophia and the impending birth of her child has cast a long shadow over his future. Yet, Holly refuses to let that deter her. She's young, in love, and convinced that this moment is hers to claim, no matter the consequences. What's truly surprising is how Maggie responds to the situation. Instead of immediately trying to put a stop to it, she does something no one saw coming. She hands Tate the keys to the Horton cabin, offering them a private escape for their romantic weekend. It's a move that leaves many questioning Maggie's intentions. Is she giving them the freedom to make their own choices? Or is this her way of ensuring that, if it's going to happen, it happens in a safe environment? Before Holly and Tate can set off on their getaway, Maggie insists on having a conversation. And while Holly might assume this is just the standard, be responsible, talk, Maggie's words carry more weight than that. This isn't just about two young people in love, this is about the very real consequences of their choices. Perhaps Maggie intends to remind Holly of Tate's existing responsibilities. Maybe she hopes to steer her toward reconsideration by forcing her to acknowledge the reality of his situation. Or, just as likely, she's preparing Holly for the emotional fallout that may come when passion fades and reality sets in. Will Holly listen? Or will this push her even further down the path she's chosen? Leo Stark is now facing one of the biggest challenges of his life, reinventing himself. Fans of other days have been buzzing about what's next for Leo, as recent events have left him at a crossroads. Once thriving as the head writer of the hit soap Body and Soul, Leo's world came crashing down when he was abruptly fired from his prestigious role. Writing had always been his passion, his escape, and his claim to fame, but now, that identity has been stripped away. For a man who thrives on the drama of storytelling, losing this job is more than just a professional setback, it's personal. Leo must now dig deep and figure out what his next move will be. Does he try to fight for his old job, proving that no one can craft a scandalous, jaw-dropping storyline quite like him? Or does he embrace the unknown and take a different path altogether? One thing is certain. Leo isn't one to sit back and wallow in self-pity. His ambition and determination won't allow it. But with his reputation tarnished, he'll need to be strategic. Will he attempt to write his own independent project, proving to the world that he doesn't need body and soul to succeed? Or could this unexpected shakeup lead him down an entirely new career path, one that no one, including Leo himself, saw coming? A Valentine's Day unlike any other in Salem, Valentine's Day is rarely just about chocolates and flowers. It's a day of reckoning, of choices that will shape the future in ways no one can predict. Johnny and Chanel are facing the possibility of parenthood, a step that could either solidify their bond or expose the cracks that still linger beneath the surface. Tate is caught between two worlds, his complicated entanglement with Sophia and the life he envisions with Holly. And Holly, young and determined, is charging ahead with a decision that could redefine her future. One thing is certain. Love in Salem is never simple. And as this fateful Valentine's Day unfolds, the drama is only just beginning.